Hello, welcome once again to Nerve Check. If you were here for John's good looks or Ray's insight, you're going to be disappointed because unfortunately you get me. Fortunately, we have Justin with me today. How you doing, Justin?
Oh, I am fantastic, and I am just reminded that we formed the anti. What was the anti engineer coalition? What the heck was that thing?
I don't.
Those, I don't remember, but yeah, like the people that I don't know.
Engineers are terrible people. Don't believe them. They suck.
Except for Ray. Ray's a gentleman. We,
Uh,
we you know we
we'll
don't
let
we
them
don't
pass.
hold it against him that he chose the wrong career path, right?
Him and Ren. We'll
Yeah,
let them pass. We'll
yeah,
let them pass. All right. How you been, Justin?
fantastic. How are you, sir?
I'm all right, mate. It's good to see you again, even though it is just over recording. It's been too long, but that's coming up in a week or so. We'll be doing a little bit of masters prep, and I'm sure we can get into that in a little bit.
Yeah.
But for now, I just had you on to have a quick chat about you Buffalo guys have been coming up to see us idiot Canadians, well, those idiot Canadians, and an Englishman for a while. And I just want to have a quick chat on, those sorts of things. So, how did this all happen? And how did you end up playing me for the first time ever in a Kings of War tournament?
You
Like, do tell.
you were my first ever tournament game and my third ever game of Kings of War.
You poor bastard.
Um, so quick quick bit of my or yeah, my wargaming background. I am not the normal Warhammer refugee.
Good.
I started playing with historicals, and then I went to Warhammer 30,000, not 40,000. That was my first GW game, and
You
then I
poor
played in
bastard.
a Warhammer 40K tournament against Nick Shibetta, and he was talking to me about Kings of War. And then I went to his house. We played a game of Kings of War. And he's like, "Yeah, there's a tournament in Canada in like 6 weeks. You want to go?" So I painted an army in 6 weeks. It went up there. I did very well in the paint scores, shockingly, for a 6 week for painted army. And then you teleported Ector behind me and did naughty things to me
I love
in the
that
first
style. I
round.
miss it. Yep.
So,
No, I remember your army. It was a Varangur. It was a
yep,
bunch of guys on horses,
it
and
was
you
four
almost had
hordes
me.
of Frostfangs, like a year, about 6 months before third edition. So they were terrible back then.
It
Like
was,
they were about 6 months too early.
yeah, but it was a gorgeously
Yeah.
painted army. I love the way it looked. I still remember it with the red cloaks
Yep.
and there was a lot of yellow on there too. I remember thinking, my God, you must be a madman. But then again, nobody wanted to upset you because you are like 12'4", right?
Yeah.
So, oh,
12 foot 3.5, sir. All right.
I'm
I
sorry.
only make 12'4" when I hit the heels, when I get my heels on.
So that's how you ended up coming up to see us, eh?
That was my
You had
first time there. Yep.
bloody hell, really? And you've still been coming up ever since, even though you met me? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Been a glutton for punishment. What can I say?
What can I say? Well, all I can tell you is I've played you. What we played each other what 5 times now, and I believe you're 3-2 against me at the very least.
We've
I
played at
know you.
least four that I remember. You won the
Yeah,
first two, and I won the last two.
I'm
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure you've beaten
Yeah,
me 3 times over.
I might
I
have.
really do. Yeah. Well, all that means is that the student is still the student. That's all that means.
You got my comeuppance coming up soon.
I don't know, man. The last army I played against you was your Lizardman.
Yep, that was the
The
raffle
shooting
army.
lizard. I really like that bloody army. I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, I played. I mean, it did exactly what I wanted to do. I did very well until the last round when I played Eric Trowbridge, and I lost that game in deployment. I made a couple deployment errors, and that he does not make mistakes,
No,
and that was kind of the game. It was a great game. So
yeah. Well, let me think here. So, who else did you play? Do you remember who else you played that tournament? That's not the last tournament you played, though. Did it Dead of Winter? Dead of Winter in between?
um, was that a winner? No, the March of Death was
March
after.
of Death was the last one. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So round one, I played Joel. His first time gaming, our second game ever. I played
Yeah.
him once at Critical Hit, up in other side of Toronto in Oshawa. They had a tournament in the before times, before the COVID.
Oh my God, you've
Um,
even been that far into Toronto.
yeah, it was a 1 day thing, and I don't know if I would drive that far again. It was like 3.5 hour drive for a 1 day tournament. But
Wow.
it was like right after. It was like a month after the first King Beyond the Wall, and I was still jazzed because of how fun the community is, right, and how good the game is. So I played Joel round one.
Right.
Round two, who the heck did I play? I forget who I played round two. Oh my goodness.
Nameless
Um,
Face on the way to the podium. Is that
yeah.
basically
Well,
it?
round three, played. Uh, I want to say his name was Paul, but it's not Little Paul. It was one of the guys that came down from Montreal. I forget his
Oh
name,
yeah.
but it starts with a P, and I'm a terrible human being because he's probably going to listen to this and think I'm a terrible human being.
We have ones of
Um,
people that will listen to this. Don't worry, it'll be
yes,
fun.
maybe
And
it doesn't, but
and, and to be completely honest, I mean, come on. I called my daughters Relly and Relly for the longest time. I mean,
okay.
and they're in their 20s now, and I think I still do it. So I'm never going to get names right. So it's fine.
So I played him and his undead round three. And then round four, I played Mike McCready. First ever time playing Mike. We've been circling around each other for years, but literally our first ever game against each other.
Oh, nice.
Snuck out a win there, so I got 4-0, and then I played Eric Trowbridge round five.
Wow.
So
Wow. Yeah, you ended up with that. That was the other one of those other Americans that came
one
out
of
and
yeah,
decided, yeah, to show us how to play the game. Like,
yeah.
hey,
So I think that's two or three whatchamacallit, Hamilton events in a row that have been won by Americans, right? Because Nick Shibetta won the last one day.
yep,
Eric won, and then Corey Reynolds won the King Beyond the Wall, right? So
yes,
that's
he
like
did.
three. That's 3 out of 4. Like the Spooky Murder Ghost was won by.
Oh
Did
God, I
did
don't
you win
remember.
that or did Nathan win that? I forget.
No,
You were 1 or 2, right?
yeah, Nathan won. I believe
Okay.
Nathan won that one with his dwarves.
So
Yeah, I'm letting other people win tournaments at the moment because why not? I'm a giving human being.
that's fair. Yeah, in battle for March of Death, the top 4 were all Americans. There was
Yeah.
Steven De La Rosa was number 2, and then Nick Shibetta with his 3-2 record snuck above my 4-1.
Well,
My
that man
4-4 in
is
battle.
he just seems to know how to kill people. Like,
Yes. His games are either he wins big or he loses big, and I don't know how to play the game that way. Like I can't win big. I don't know how.
he,
I don't know.
he's such a nice guy. He walks around, he's got the big smile on his face, and the Larry Moe and curly haircut,
Yep.
and and he makes you feel good about yourself when you play him, and then he just smacks the crap out of you. Like he's just really bloody good. I think he was second overall for kill points in the Crossroads last year as well.
Yeah, but that is misleading because that was an individual stat, and as a team, we had the second and third worst players at Crossroads on the team. Um, so like yes, Nick did very well there, but also Nick was the big fish in a very small pond. We were not near the top tables in that
I
event.
was I was so upset when we did not get a chance to play round two.
Oh yeah,
I was
yeah.
that was gonna happen, and we were so happy, and we were getting ready to and then all of a sudden, and then we had to play the Battle of Pilgrims. Nothing against the Battle of Pilgrims, fantastic people. I was so looking forward to playing you guys
Yeah.
and losing terribly. I thought that would have been absolutely fantastic. I thought that was just that would have made my weekend. It really would have. So maybe we'll have to grudge you one day.
One
One
day.
day. Well,
Well,
I
yeah,
hope you
there's
listen to someone
the
else.
Can-Am, what are we, the Can-Am All-Stars, I think we are this year, where it's going to
I
be
think
Ren,
you
Nick,
are.
myself, and Nathan.
Yeah. Well, it's
Because you can't make it, yeah.
Three Americans, and Nathan. I
Well,
mean,
3 Southern Ontarians, right? We're not really Americans.
well, yes, I'm pretty sure Ren and them are America.
Yeah,
Uh,
it might be.
oh well. No. So what did you think about this about the army that you played? Because like I said, when I saw the lizards come out, I was kind of shocked because you were going down the rats at one point. I mean, I think I've seen you play everything at
Yeah,
this point, but
I definitely bounce around. I mean, salamanders are one of the armies that got a huge boost in the last Clash of Kings. Like, if you want to include the Northern Alliance, Night Stalkers, and Twilight King armies that all got refreshed last
yeah,
year, and
yeah.
then outside of that, you look at like the 3 dwarf factions, like the Free Dwarfs, the
Oh
Imperial
God, yeah,
Dwarfs, and the Abyssal Dwarfs, all got huge things.
yeah,
And then like Salamanders got a bunch of boosts.
yeah.
So they
Health boosts.
the Corsairs got 2 extra attacks.
Yes, which they
Um,
needed.
their Flagger got the Wild Charge 2 aura. So
Yeah.
now you have Corsairs that are as fast as Ogres, which is one of those speed break points you want to look at. They still don't unlock, which is kind of here or there,
Mm.
but Phoenixes. Like Phoenixes are amazing at 15, 17. The
Yeah.
list could have been dirtier. I chose to be friendly. I did not take Barkskin on my thing. The Barkskin, the Phoenixes with the
Who would
regen
take
3+.
Buckskin?
If
What
you care about
terrible
winning
human
games,
being?
you take Barkskin on for your Phoenixes. Like it's what you do. I chose not to. And then what did I have? The greater fire elementals are like maybe the best monster in the entire game currently.
Possibly,
I'm
yeah.
and then I gave them the rally aura for 2 fire elemental hordes, and you have 2 hordes of fire elementals that are fearless 19. So they're the nerve of giants, because giants are 18-20 nerve. Fearless 19 is 18-20 nerve basically.
Yeah.
So they're surgible giants that do about as much damage as a giant does with their d6+6 without
Jeez.
the extra d6. Yeah, so I mean the list did what it did, and then I had a Rhinosaur horde, which is again it's a fearless 18 just nutcracker of a unit.
It's just something, just that, it was your throwaway unit. That
Yep.
was your calf. Yeah.
Well, that, and then I had a sneaky for the 2500 day. I had a regiment of ancients because I really wanted another inspiring source. And the defense 6 ancients that hit on 3s, which you
Yeah.
saw that, and then
Yeah.
they also are unit strength 4, which like you have placoderms, but placoderms cost as much as ancients, but they hit on 4s and not 3s. I mean, it's 15 attacks instead of 12, but they also
Right.
don't have crushing 1. Like they're an okay anvil, but like if ancients weren't irregular, you can make an entire army out of them. And you can't say the same thing about placoderms.
No. Well, I'm
Right
not.
there.
I'm not a big fan, but you got to use some things sometimes just to make sure, especially when you
Well,
come on something like this and tell people how bad Trident Realms are. So,
I mean, yeah, they did not receive the boost that the 3 factions that got updated last year, or any of the armies that got boosted in Clash
yeah,
this year. They definitely, I don't know if it's because of Luke, because he won Masters, they were afraid to make the army too good. But like, yeah, that was definitely, hopefully they see that like there's another gear for that army, and there's stuff in the works for the next Clash of Kings for them, honestly, or
I
4th
hope so.
edition, whichever's first.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope so. I mean, I could, I've bitched about it enough.
Yeah, I
Which
mean
is
it's not changing now, right?
well, no, and it's not going to stop me from playing the army. It is my favorite army, so I'm still going to try and make everything work the way that I want to. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
So I haven't, like, you went pretty damn deep into the salamanders there. Like that was, I never thought about some of those things that you were just talking about. Like even Parkskin on a phoenix. Like, should we even be mentioning that on something that may or may not go out into the internet?
I mean, I'm not the first person to think about it. I'm not the only person to think about it. So like, it's not that it's like a natural thing. It's kind of like Barkskin on. I'm almost moving to the point where Barkskin on a defense 4 army is worth the points right now.
I've
Just
looked at it a few times too. Yeah.
just like looking at it like from a Ratkin's perspective, or even like a Twilight King perspective. Like you have the Blood Hex, and then you could also
Yeah.
like you could holy cow, not Blood Boil, but you could Barkskin the Fleet Warden regiment, and all of a sudden you've got a 17-19 Fleet Warden regiment that's got +2 wounds to it. Basically, so it's a 19-21 regiment of Fleet Wardens that's does 5 wounds a turn because it's hitting on 4s with elite and vicious and crushing 1. Like it's a thing. I don't know how good it is.
Well, you could even do it
But
on impalers, because if you're casting into the side or the back,
yep,
it's still defense 4.
it's still defense 4 in the
It's
same.
only defense 6 in the
Yep.
front.
Same thing with like Gigas, or but their Gigas aren't to the
There's 5.
same.
Gigas are 5 though. Yeah.
Oh, there's still 5 in they're
There's
like
still
the siege
5s
breakers.
yeah, that really does screw people over sometimes. We're like,
Yeah,
haha, I got you inside. And I'm like, okay.
I thought they were 4 for some reason. I don't know,
They
but
used,
yeah,
I think they used to be. I think
it
the
might have
Big
been.
Shield
Okay,
was, I think that was 2nd edition. The Big Shield used to
that
be.
might have been, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I haven't
which
looked
is
at
great.
Trident Realms too much this entire edition.
No, and I don't
Hey,
think we'll see a lot, but
yeah,
real men play fish. So that's all I'm
yeah.
going to say about that.
I don't know. Just like to me, when it started, it was either the turn 1 enthrall and shoot list to talk about it, which I still think was the best list. It didn't get seen a lot in tournament play, but I think
No.
even before the updates and after the updates, like that list is unplayable now because you can only take 1 siren, and your river guard can't enthrall at 18 inches. So like,
Well, then you still have the harpoon guns that you could shoot people and pull that in.
right, but 22 is your max range for anything else. And like the thing was, you wanted to get them in so you could Alchemist Curse, or you can shoot them with your Trident
Yeah.
King, which all has 12-inch range shooting, right? So you want to be able to do that on turn one, so you can do 12 or 13 wounds to a defense 5 unit, right, and remove one,
Yeah.
right, or take a horde, pull it in, and then wind blast it back with Ector. Right, that was the gimmick of the list, which it was a gimmick list. But I still think it was the best
But they're
list
the best list.
that was available for Trident realms. Unless you went with the formation, which, as all the ambush box lists have come, that formation's gone and been
Yeah.
replaced, which is
fine.
which is fine. That's the way. That's the way to get people into the game. It's not a bad thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I do wish there was Pathfinder for them.
I do wish that there was. I wish there was more Pathfinder in the game in general. So wait a minute. What was your Pathfinder in the Salamander list was what the Corsairs got Pathfinder? I can't remember.
They don't, but the
They
fire
don't.
elementals all have Pathfinder. Phoenixes fly as they do, and then
Yeah.
the Corsairs I didn't really care about.
Strider on the Rhinosaurs.
I think I either had, yes, I bought Strider for them.
Oh, you bought Strider for
but
them.
it was only one regiment.
Yeah.
They have their 3 attack hero has an aura that he can give Pathfinder to infantry. It's, to me, it's a 3 attack hero that doesn't inspire in an army that's hurting for unlocks, because your first 5 unlocks are 3 Phoenixes and 2 greater fire elementals, and then your 6th one is your mage priest.
That doesn't inspire.
The mage priest inspires, but the 3, like most of the 3 attack heroes, they don't inspire unless if you're playing like Rorty, who has the 4 attack hero that inspires.
Oh, okay.
So you either get your 5 attack like Lord level thing, or then you got your flag guys that inspire, but the middle, the 3 attack guys for like 70 points or 50 points plus before the mount.
Let's talk about that for a minute. What are your thoughts on the whole like the 40 millimeter guys who you only have 5 attacks and not being able to use individual items like the scythe or the axe of the giant slayer, that sort of thing? Do you think that's the right way to go, or is it because they get double in the side? Is that too much to be going with?
I think the 40 and 50 mil heroes are too good as is.
Really?
Absolutely. There's a cost that comes with taking individuals and not just the normal scoring heroes.
Right.
Until the game moves away from scoring at the end of the game, until there's more of a progressive scoring system, the people that can have multiple 100-point units that can score is always going to be better than the individuals that can't. So either some of it is, again, the 40, 50 mil heroes are all speed 6 and speed 7 versus your infantry's generally speed 5.
Right.
Not every army. Elves obviously are speed 6 and 7. Trident Realms, a lot of it's speed 6.
Yeah. But your Northern Alliance, your Kings of Men, those sorts of things. Yeah.
So, and then to make their inspiring guys, put a mount on them, it's 35 points, and now you're spending 140 points for a hero that is barely better than something that's 115 that also scores. So at the end of the day, you have to have units around at the end of turn 6 that can score. You don't have to have a lot, but you have to have more than your opponent.
Right.
So.
I never really thought about it that way. I mean, when you start making sense.
Oh, this is not. I don't make sense, sir.
So is this how you oh, sorry, my brain shuts down every once in a while. So is this how you normally go and look at when you're building a list? Is like you think, okay, these are the things I need, these are the things I want, or do you start with this unit in this army is cool, I need to make that go?
So generally, I start with like a unit that I think is understated or is good. For a long time, that was during the COVID times, that was actually salamanders, and that was the tyrants. I thought the tyrants were very, very good. So I would run around with 3 hordes of them. They're borderline unplayable now because of the way the game has shifted in the last 3 or 4 updates. But they were good, and that was what led to the Rhinosaur regiments being like me taking 2 or 3 of them, was because they're a height 4 screen. So it's usually about like, how do I make this unit and make it better? Um, and then when I'm looking at like, how do I kill my opponent? I look at damage per frontage. So like an infantry horde might do 11 attacks, but if you can find like a berserker style regiment that does 6 or 7, like 2 regiments are better than a horde. And then like, you worry about unlocks afterwards. But
Right.
like, so I definitely think I look at the game weird relative to most people. But that's how you get to a list that has 3 Bloodworm Legions, right? That still
Yeah,
does well.
it does well. It did a lot better than I thought it was going to do against
Yeah.
me that one time. I was like, "No, I'll table you, not a problem." And I was
Yeah.
like, "No, that did not
And
work."
that did not work out. Yeah, that was almost the other way around.
It pretty much was the other
Yeah.
way around. Yeah, no, I did not. I did not expect that out of your Bloodworms. I love your Bloodworms models too. I really like that army.
Just very simple green stuff.
You say
But
that, but
yeah,
I'm a uneducated man who can barely spell his own name, which is why it's only 3 letters long. So at least that's what I like to tell people. Well, let's go. So I'm
sorry.
hosting a little master's practice. You rightfully so have made it onto masters, unlike myself, who lucked his
I don't
way
know.
on, and I'm
I
pretty sure I greased a bunch of palms to make sure I
Dude,
made it in there.
I got on based on my soft scores. Like, this was not a battle score thing. This was
I'm
100%
not so
soft
sure,
scores.
man. Remember, I have played you a few times, and I've
Yeah,
watched
but
it. Like there's, I don't think you soft scored your way onto this. I
I
honestly
don't
don't.
know. Maybe I got
I'm,
lucky. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I'm the lucky one, and you're on there for
Well,
sure.
you're ahead of me, so I don't know. I don't think that's true.
Mistakes were made. I'm pretty sure somebody carried the one when they were supposed to take a minus on something. I'm pretty sure, but yeah, I apparently I still need to buy my ticket for that. Should
I
probably
bought
do
mine
that.
on the way home from the March of Death because that was the day that they opened up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I haven't. I need to do that.
I've got to
I
buy my Crossroad ticket yet. I'm a slacker in that regard.
I
I'm a
am
terrible.
very upset that I cannot go to
Yeah,
Crossroads this year.
now you got
Happy
your
to still
reason.
be married, but very upset.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on my anniversary this year, and I wish I could go, but some things are more important. And I mean, I'm married to a saint, so like she's
I mean,
amazing.
she married you without you having to pay a monthly fee. Like, that's
Well, if you ask my family, they constantly remind her. So, you can. I actually married my high school sweetheart
oh wow.
after being away from each other for 10 years. She is. I don't know why she bothered coming back, but I'm so glad she did. She is. She's everything. She honestly is. But that being said, I don't go to master. Sorry, I don't go to Crossroads.
Crossroads. Yeah,
So I mean, easy come, easy go, right?
it's all right. We'll just be the best Canadian team this year and make sure the A team stays second best.
I
That's
mean,
that's all I care about.
I've been best Canadian for 2 years in a row. So
Well, technically Ray is this year, right? Or is he Ray
I'm,
still considered an American because he lived in
I'm
Maryland
not
for a
sure.
while? I don't know if he's considered American or Canadian. Like, I don't
Look,
know
I'm
how
just
that
gonna say
works.
crap and
Yeah,
make it true because people have to look this shit up, and we all know that nobody's gonna do that such a thing.
yeah, no.
So, but no, I'm doing a master's practice. I'm gonna have a bunch of you guys out to my humble abode, and we're gonna have a little bit of a barbecue and a bunch of games and that. So
Mhm.
Uh, any any insights on you looking forward to this? Anything that you might be bringing that you don't want people to know about? Shh, like we got ones of people here. Like no one's gonna.
Well, painted, I have the triple bloodworm list, which is my Crossroads list.
Right.
Because it's 2,600 points, and I had 2 Shadow Hulks, 2 Planar Apparitions, 3 Bloodworms, and 3
Yeah.
the Soul Flare regiments, and you're good to go. Then 2
Right.
horrors, and and then 2 scarecrows, and it's a nice tight 2,600 14 drop list that just sits there as long as I can block up the double and triple charges. Like, I'm getting flanks, and then I'm healing a billion, and the Bloodworm Legions are doing 11 to 14 damage a turn. On the counterattack against defense 5, like, it's Shadow, Shadow Hulks in the back are Fearless 18, Soul Flayers have 12 attacks, Crush One Thunder 1. Like, the list hums.
So what do you think about the soul flares? Like I've noticed people have gone away from them. Like
They
obviously from the nerf, which I'm not entirely sure was a nerf, but
they're no longer undercosted.
no.
They so that's why people are going away from them, because there's so many other good units in that army.
Well, that's true.
Um, that it's just there's easier ways to find your percentages.
Yeah.
Um,
And,
a-
but you
and
don't look like a min-max type of guy. Like,
no, but like they fit my list and my list archetype, because my list is 200 by 120 mil bases, and then I can anchor them off to a flank. Right, I can protect them, and they're also height 2 for height 4, so like you get to cover and then you get stealthy, so like they're not as fragile as they would be in someone that's running a more compact, like a 4 Ravager or 4 Butcher Horde type list, where like you can't protect them, right? Because again, 13-15 defense 4 is not that great, even with stealthy in the current game. It's and stealthy kind of is irrelevant for some 24-inch piercing shooting.
some,
Some.
just, just some.
So, but it is what it is.
Well, so what it so it's the planar apparition, which I think is possibly the best support piece.
Mind Fog's the best spell in the game.
It is. Well, not
As
even
you can attest from our last game.
well, yeah.
Mind Fog is the best spell in the game.
It is. It really is nice. It really is.
It
But no, the heal and the radiance of
Love.
life.
Oh, yeah, that's why you take the unit. The Mind Fog gives you something to do on the first couple of turns if your opponent isn't shooting at you.
Right, but at the same time, at the end of the game, where there's something sitting around with like that's still got 6 wounds on it. Why not one more?
Why not? Yeah, and you add shattering, which is always nice.
Yeah, just being able to make that one bloody test that no one wants to ever bloody take. Yep. Especially at what Mind Fog is something stupid like 30 inches away or something dumb like that. Like it really gets across the board that easy.
Well, and it's really good if that's your only shooting in your army. People will put their chaff out front because it's Mind Fog. What's he gonna do? What's Mind Fog gonna do? Right. And then you're stuck with your ass in your wind.
Yeah, you're like,
sorry, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to curse or no?
Oh, please go nuts!
I didn't think about it. I'm sorry. That was
no. You go right ahead, mate.
But yeah, someone puts their chaff in the way, and then all of a sudden they can't do anything.
Yeah, I think that is the most common mistake people will make. I mean, bloody hell, I did just a little while ago myself, where it's like, and why didn't I leave this 1 inch back? Like, why didn't I allow myself to be able to turn? Like, it's just
where your chaff is on turn 1 is very irrelevant.
Yeah,
unless it's in the wrong spot, and then it's very relevant.
Yeah, and I can't move, and I'm stuck behind this thing, and what do I do? Well, I can run over it. No, I can't, because if I do that, I'm going to get shot, or I'm going to get hit, or I'm going to get charged, or I'm going to get, oh crap, what the hell am I going to do about it now?
But for secret army projects, I will have bases prepared for orcs, regular orcs.
Really?
Yep. I think the Skulk Chariots are very efficient for what they do.
Don't get me started.
Without the shooting attacks, like just 125 points, just Skulk Chariots, and then all the heroes, because that's where orcs really excel, is all the heroes.
That is true.
And the Skulk Chariots are one of the few units that don't really pay the tax for the war drum. They're a 13-15 chariot, which is kind of standard. Yep. So getting their chariots up to 15-17 for 125 points is very efficient.
You see, I've always looked at orcs as being like that smash in the face, and their standard is fantastic. Yep. And I don't think I can kill war drums. There's something around that.
You don't bring shooting, right?
It's not even shooting. I've been in combat with these things with multiple units, including, I think, against K2. I put a unit of a horde of Dracons into it and couldn't kill the goddamn thing.
I mean, you should do 10 wounds against it, and it's a fearless 11. Like, it's
double ones are a thing, and K2 is a wonderful human being.
Oh, yes, if Ken puts a hex on your dice, that might happen.
He smiled at me, and I just kind of like melted as I rolled the dice, and it seemed to work. So
that is the K2 effect. Our Lord and Savior Skullface, just sometimes he does away with his dice. Him and Chris Murphy are the two guys notorious in the Northeast.
I've not had a chance to play Chris yet.
Chris is a gentleman. If you've never played him, he is a great person to play against. This personality-wise and everything.
We played his team in Crossroads last year, and I didn't get it. I put him up against TJ Tim.
Okay.
And like you could tell he was just having a great time the entire
Yeah, no,
time.
Chris is a great opponent.
Yeah. Like somebody else, I need to get a chance at. But orcs, man, I just don't. The fact that Rift Forge now have these war drums, it just bugs the crap out of me because
But
there's something else I can't do.
the for Rift Forge, they're in that army is super weird because you either have to go like all into the flyers or all into the infantry, and like infantry is not in a great place right now. Like even with 3 hordes of it, it's not.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And then you're stuck with infantry for chaff because they're not, even if it's speed 7 fly, it's not like fast enough. It's not really good enough. I don't know.
well, I play Nathan a lot, and he's fantastic with the damn
Yeah,
thing. So,
and they
he,
have to pay a shrine tax. They pay 120,
yeah.
160 points for a shrine.
The fact that they
Which
got war drums, I mean, that was just
oh yeah,
beautiful.
yep.
It was just beautiful. It was something that the army needs. The other thing I was thinking about that was, does that mean do you think that the orcs are going to go the way of the dodo? Are we're gonna write them out? Which I kind of think that they should. And I know
Pro.
people are, no, you don't do that thing.
I
But
mean, if I'm not saying no, I'm saying if they're doing it to orcs, there's about 7 or 8 other factions that it should happen to as well.
yeah,
Just I mean, 28 armies is too many.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So like,
yeah.
there's 7
Lordia
in.
could definitely
Yep.
go away as well.
Mhm. I mean,
I
Brother Mark could go away. They could just
yeah,
become Basileia. Green Lady's pretty much the same thing. Like it's like you have 7 human factions. You have multiples that have flying infantry now because you
yeah,
have Kings of Men and you have Green Lady. Like it's just maybe there's one super list for humans, and then they just have special characters that will unlock certain units or whatever. I don't know. I'm not a playtester. I'm not on the RC. It's obviously.
yeah,
Um,
neither am I.
so like, but yes, there are very simple and easy ways to do that. That hopefully I think help balance the game and whatnot. But
Oh
like
yeah,
28 armies is too many.
yeah.
Um,
I still
so
think that the Sylvankin and the elves should just be
yep.
kind of slammed together. I mean, Nathan and I have talked about this a few times where we've talked about how you could just have like two separate formations, and if you take an Elven King, well, you get these things become your like your core units, and if you
Mhm.
take a Sylvan King, like these things become your core units.
Yep.
And I think there's some
Yeah.
weight
There's
to that.
there's a lot of cool stuff they can do with formations. Like if they still wanted to have like even like allies around in the next edition, like
Yeah,
just say like we're gonna make these formations, and then these formations you can take as allies. Like
yeah,
it seems like you know what I mean, like a mercenary band type of thing. Like there's a lot of room so you can balance it better, but it's also more work, right? So none of these guys get paid.
yeah.
So like
Oh
I
no,
really
no. I like
you know
through all my bitching and everything else, I will
yeah
constantly say that none of this has anything to do with any of my views of anybody in the RC.
yeah.
And at
I
some point
mean
in time, I'll run into a couple of them, and I'm sure they'll tear a strip off me for being a dick about Trident Realms. That's fine, absolutely. Like not getting paid and trying to make games that just so we can have some
yeah,
fun.
but there's
Like
there's a lot of opportunity, like because again, fourth edition is not that far away. Like we may have one more Clash of Kings. I'm assuming like it's
nobody
this
knows,
this has been
right?
around for 5 years, and 5 6
Yeah,
years is generally the lifespan of a game, right?
yeah, yeah. Well, I
So
mean,
or
it's
edition of a game. So
Ronnie's kind of following the path of the first 10 years of GW. I mean, 10 years in, we're up to Mark III, just like,
yeah.
Warhammer was, and we're starting to move in. And just like they did, we're getting better models, we're getting,
Hmm.
better molds, we're getting better all the rest of the stuff. Like the stuff they've been doing lately, it's just been fantastic. It really does make me happy in what's coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I bought some of the new goblins this not this
Oh,
year, but
good.
this past summer.
Yeah.
And from their version 1 models to the new ones, like it is night and day.
Yeah.
The mold the lines are crisper.
Yeah.
It's the sculpts are just better. The mold lines aren't anywhere near as atrocious. And then I'm looking at these orcs, and it's like I'm trying to figure out how to put what the hell was the surcoats on them? So like a cloth surcoat on the front of them, and then paint all that because I don't want to paint the Mantic orcs. The faces are cool sculpts, but like those models suck.
Yeah. He's still not as
They're not as bad as the elves, the V1 elves, but like the version 1 orcs, it's like, oh my goodness, I want to paint as you know
as few as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, I still like the rats. I really like the
Yep.
Tangle. The Broodmother. Okay, I understand that you're doing it for 2 game systems, which I'm all for because hey, I will play both of those game
Yep.
systems all day long. Firefights a great game.
The
Absolutely agree.
nightmare's a little weird. Hang on 1 second. Hang on.
No, oh, he's got something here.
Hang on.
No, go ahead. I'll fill the time with nothing but me singing, and I'm sure we'll lose more people. I didn't think negatives was a problem.
But like this
Oh
guy
yeah.
here
Oh
is
Scott.
amazing.
Yeah.
This sculpt is gorgeous.
Yes, it is.
And even like this guy here, like, oh
Oh, I
my
love
god, I
that
know
thing.
it's a little short for compared to most of their other Titans, but like
Yeah,
that
but
thing, the
oh,
sculpt is awesome. The detail is amazing for resin. Like these are great models.
so what
So
I
like,
did with my mutant rat fiend was I gave him. I haven't done it yet, but I've got these tiny little wings that I'm
yep.
going to put on the mutant rat fiend, so every once in a while he can be Scud if I want him to be. Like they're like a tenth of the size of the model. Like it's comical. Well, it is for me anyway.
Yeah.
But no, I really do. I really they're abyssal dwarves. I love their abyssal
Yep.
dwarves. And if
The new
anybody ever
ones.
needs,
The old
oh,
ones, because I bought some of the half breeds. I won some of the half breeds, and
right,
the half breeds are rough. But the new, like the regiment boxes are amazing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, they're. I used them when I was doing Northern Alliance. I was using parts from the abyssal dwarves to make Huskarls.
Okay.
Because you can like the shields and that
Yep.
the arms fit beautifully, and it's a great switch between the tribesmen and the
Oh
dwarves
yeah. Okay.
because there's fur and stuff on the shoulders, so they look like that they're. It was fantastic. I
Yeah.
actually think that
I I
it's a
may
great
or
thing.
may not be using the decimators as my claw shots because Mantic's been out of their claw
Oh,
shots. Because there is this event coming up on Labor Day weekend.
is
That
there not?
I yeah I am trying to make a Mantic army for.
I'm not. I've
Yeah.
got.
No, I
Uh,
mean I have already accepted the fact that I am maybe going to finish in the bottom half, like realistically there.
you'll be
But
above me, buddy. Don't worry.
I want to bring a Mantic army because like I want to support the company, right?
I do.
So
I really, 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 really do. But I have 2 fantastic people that are apparently doing a project for me. So
oh,
whatever they're doing,
that's hey
uh, and I'm staying out of it. So whatever they're doing for it, I've seen pictures, and I will be the guy that I normally am, and I can't wait to unveil this thing. Like
hell yeah.
I don't know what they're doing for basing. I've been told that this is uh, whatever it is I have some fantastic people that I'm very lucky to be friends with, and
So speaking of friends, is Nathan on? Did he? I know he was ninth. Did he make it? Because I don't think Derek can make Masters this
so
year,
as far as I know,
or
Nathan
is
is in.
he is okay?
Yes,
Okay.
which I mean we can go through that. I mean I was the fact that it was going to be you, me,
Nick,
John,
John,
you
Nick,
know,
and Nathan. Yeah.
McCready, right,
Yeah.
Ray, and Nick and Nathan. And I was so bloody happy,
Yeah.
and then we had like 3 more results, and I was like, God damn it! I would I
Well,
felt like
Greg snuck in. Greg went to 3 events this year. One of them being Crossroads, where they played with 3 people. So like,
oh
how good did he do at his other 2 events? Right.
oh I know.
You know what I mean?
Like
Like
I,
he
his army looks
yeah.
fantastic too.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
his dwarfs are amazing.
yeah. Like
There's another gentleman that I really want to play one day that I have not had the chance to
me
play yet.
too. And Chris Pelletier, I'd
Yep.
love to play him one day. I honestly would. I've had the privilege of playing. Well, Ray, yourself,
Mhm.
Corey Reynolds. Corey is just such a fantastic player.
Yep.
He free he mind screwed me constantly throughout that. I should have charged like a turn ahead of time. I can't wait to play Corey again, and he'll just laugh and he'll table me again,
Yeah.
and it'll be fun. Well, he didn't. I lost one model that entire game, one, and he beat me. I didn't think that was possible.
Yep.
Playing control. I love that man. I absolutely, and I just had to applaud it. I was like, son of a bitch. And I timed out, and it was most of it was just I freaked myself out because he just sits there and he's such a great player,
Mhm.
and he just smiles at you like, what are you gonna do? And even when he doesn't have a plan, and you know that he doesn't have a plan, but you're sure that he does, but he
Oh yeah.
doesn't, but he does, and he just and you're like,
Yeah.
God damn it, what do I do? What do I do? Uh, I really hope that I get to play all you guys. I mean, the Nerd Hammer group. I would love to
Yep.
play them. Joe, I'm gonna butcher his last name, the Silver Fox,
Borghese?
Bagazy.
Yes.
I
He
cannot wait.
we've
We
played
used to
twice. I
have
beat him the first time, and he crushed me at the Atlantic City Open last year.
what a fantastic
Yeah.
human being.
Oh yeah.
I've been lucky to run into him just at Crossroads. He
Yep.
bought me breakfast because he needed to. No, I'm kidding. He bought me breakfast, and what a fantastic guy. I never got a chance to return the favor. I used to
So
say everybody up here, Jesse had the best hair in
yeah.
Kings of War. It's not. It's
Nope.
Joe.
Joe
Uh,
is the Silver Fox of Kings of War. He is
he
amazing.
rightly
Um.
named. What a fantastic human.
Yep. Joe.
Gorgeous, gorgeous man. I
Yep.
am not ashamed to say
Yep.
it.
No. And quick Joe story. The first time we met was at Crossroads before COVID. The Crossroads, the last Crossroads before COVID.
Yeah.
My second ever Kings of War tournament. Round one or round two, I'm sitting on the table behind him, and he's
Yeah.
got his laser pointer in his hand, and he's clicking it, and it's hitting me in the eye. So I'm like, and it's like it happened once or twice. I don't think about it. It's like 3 turns in. It's like, man, I got to say something to this guy. So I walk over to him, and I scare the ever living crap out of it. Like that man, like his soul left his body, and like since then we've been friends.
Yeah.
So after the first 5 seconds, oh my god, this guy's gonna kill me. Because Joe's not a small guy. He's
No.
tall. I mean, he's not
Yeah.
fat like me, but he's tall.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean,
I tower over him. Yeah.
12'3". I mean, like,
Yeah.
come on. I'm looking forward to you coming out. If we might play in my backyard, but if we don't, depending on what the day is
Okay.
like, we might be playing in my garage, and I can't wait to see if you even fit in my garage.
Oh, I'll fit.
Oh, I'm sure you will.
Me
But
and my
that
twin brother used to sit in the back seat of a Saturn, so that we can fit
you
in.
have a twin
Yes,
brother.
I'm the little one.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
he's got me by 3 inches. Yeah,
Well, it's more about length
standing up
than
and
girth,
laying
isn't
down. Yes. But that's for a separate podcast.
it? Now I understand why you like Night Stalkers so much.
Yeah.
It's all the tentacles, buddy.
Hey, I ain't here to yuck your yum, man. Don't yuck mine.
Well, I would say I would pull this off the rails, but I prefer it
Oh no, I'm sorry.
when it's off the rails. It's a lot more fun that way.
I'm a yes and kind of guy, so you started it. I will not stop it.
Hey,
I'm sorry.
I will start it. I'm English. I'm going to start it
Yeah.
every bloody time,
Yep.
man.
Nope.
Don't worry about that. I forgot what we were talking about. We were talking about Joe.
Talking about Joe, yeah, and then
Yeah,
we got the tentacles real quick. I don't know.
we got the tentacles real quick. I mean,
Yeah.
that hair.
Yep.
I'm already, every time I see him, I just hear the song Hungry Eyes for some reason. I don't know why.
So, yeah, we got the. I don't know. We've been all over the place today. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine,
Not
man. I
keeping us
prefer
on
to
track.
do that sort of
Yeah.
thing. I would rather ramble than have an actual
Yep.
conversation.
Well, that
It's
is
a lot more
that is
fun.
an actual. That's an authentic, actual conversation. We're not working on a script or anything, So
Well,
here we
yeah.
are.
And I mean, on top of that, how often do I actually get a chance? We message back and forth, and you send
Yeah.
me some odd ass list,
Some
and I
weird ass
look at it
list,
and
right?
go,
Yeah.
how is that going to work? How is that actually? And then it does.
Mm.
It does. Your Ratkin Slaves was
Yep.
fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Like,
That
but
list, I think I found a way to make that list better too. Instead of taking the chariot heroes, instead of taking 3 chariot, you take 2 dragons, because the Abyssal Dwarf dragons are
they're so good.
bonkers. They're defense 5 with regen 5+ and fury.
Yeah,
Like it's only 9 attacks with crush 3 vicious. But yeah, it's 18 attacks hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s with vicious. Like that's amazing. And then it's defense 5 with regen, right? So there's no heal on the list, but the regen 5+ is effectively a defense 6 dragon, right? That's in my brain. That's how I look at it.
right.
So like, I don't know. It's
See,
I think there's like, and then I play Ren, and then it feels really good when I play Ren. But Ren's a good player, right? Ren was
Ren
like
is
13th or 14th in the region.
Ren likes to pretend that he's not a good player.
Yeah, but yeah,
much
he's
like
sneaky
all of
good.
us. But
But I can
oh,
also I also know how to get under Ren's skin a little bit and like just poke, and it's like, don't make that charge. Well, that's a terrible charge. Don't do it. Meanwhile, I want him to make that charge because it's a terrible charge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like me playing either one of the McCreadys. Like
Yep.
John and Mike they're fantastic players. They honestly both are. The fact that to think about this, I mean, there's a chance that the entire the entire Northeast could have been a bunch of Canadian players. Only,
Yep.
a couple of guys decided to have kids and not travel to some things, or we'd have more people. Or if Alex
Well,
would come out of his hidey hole at some point in
also,
time.
we got very lucky because all the East Coast players, they all had kids in the last year, which opened up a lot of spots. Like when you
But
think about, you look at Crossroads, right? There's Crossroads is usually the Shambling Horde and Unpluggers get very good scores.
right,
Um, Mike Rossi had a family issue; he had to leave early,
yeah,
and then the Unpluggers, Keith Conroy, maybe the
right,
best player in the Northeast. Um,
possibly,
the Northeast player that won Masters, he either himself or a family had some issues with the COVID and he had to drop last minute. So there's the two
yeah,
best teams in the Northeast were playing with 3 people, which is
right,
what made you guys the best Northeast team at 9th. So like instead of there being 4 scores that are like a 75 or an 80, right? Because you look at all
yeah,
those players, they're like 25, 30 points below us.
right.
And it's that Crossroads score that they didn't get this year that they always get.
Oh, I know.
It opened up the opportunities for us, right, to sneak in above them.
All those unplugged guys have been lucky enough to run into him a few times. Mike Rossi puts up with me, which is great.
Oh,
Chris,
they're
Chris,
amazing, but they're also great players too, right?
oh God,
You
yeah.
know?
Like, I mean, well, what the hell? Sean tabled me the first time
Mhm.
I played him at Crossroads. Tabled me, and at the end of the game, picks up his tray and goes, "Oh, I didn't put this unit on the board." It was fantastic.
Oh,
It was absolutely, but and
yeah,
the entire time my dice hated me. But that being like while I'm playing the game, I'm like, he's just completely outplaying me.
yeah.
He was. And I mean, I just laughed the entire time. I think I almost choked laughing during that game. What a great guy. Like, but the funny thing is that I cannot for the life of me think of anybody that I have played that I would never play again. And I've played in tournaments, large
Yeah,
tournaments,
yeah.
in every game system, and I think I've played every game system. Like we played OTC here, which is
Mhm.
War Machine and Hordes, which was the largest War Machine horde other than other than the world team championships. We had like 140 guys.
Oh,
Yeah, it was teams of 5,
okay.
and like Scott Tellerico ran that. I can't remember how many teams he got up to, but we were well over 100 people constantly.
Yeah,
And me and John were always on a team. We never finished anything less than ninth every time that we went. I've been to 40K tournaments. I've been to um, Malifaux. I've been to
yep,
Bloody, Warhammer, and you name it. I've been there, and I've never been in a group of people that have just been so good.
yes.
Like uh, like the biggest thing that I think has ever actually happened was me at last year's March of Death when I banged a chair and said fuck really loud because I double won something and everybody kind of stopped and Alex came over to make sure I was okay and me and Eamon ran across the table at each other, and gave each other a big hug.
So
So I
yeah,
mean, I don't think I've ever played somebody I would never play again. Of course, everybody's played me, and unfortunately, they all have to play me again. So it's
I
great.
mean, yeah, I have not challenged you, whether that's because you can't challenge down or what that is. Um, but but
It's
yeah, I
not
mean,
out of height.
even playing you is fine. Like the community for Kings of War tends to run a little bit older than other communities.
Yes,
You look at like Warhammer tends to churn through players that are in their 20s and early 30s, and
right,
then they either like get out of the hobby altogether or they move on to other game systems.
right.
Not just Kings of War. It's just that's their cycle is they want to sell models and they don't care.
Yeah,
And then
which I
people that have
just
stuck with
will
the
never
hobby,
do.
it's like we're here, we're grown ass adults playing with toy soldiers. Like
Yeah,
fuck.
yeah. Well, I think that's what it really comes down to is the fact that all of us just kind of look at it and go, "I'm away from my family. I want to roll dice. I want to have a couple of drinks. I want to have a good time.
Yeah.
Do I care really if I win or lose, and I get this, trophy that no one's going to care
All
about?"
those super serious 3D printed trophies,
Yeah,
those
all that nerd cred. Think about all
yeah.
that nerd cred that we
I
that we
mean,
don't have.
you go to Orktown, you get a trophy like this one here. Like that you can like wear as a medal.
There you go.
I have a gold one of those and I have a silver one of those.
Oh, there you go,
Those
mate.
those are for sports.
One
He
day,
does that
one
for
day.
all. I don't know if you're going to Orktown this year or not.
I think we're going to a wedding
Okay.
this year, which is the only thing that stopped me from going this year.
But
And I was
that
going
is
to
the
bring my
event that you
wife
care
down with
about.
me.
Yeah, that's the event you care about, the rewards, because like they go above and beyond. They are wild with what they do for
I've heard.
trophies, for everything. It's amazing. And like 2/3 of the field gets something because they're
Yeah.
just bonkers. Those guys, I don't know what started it, but those guys are ridiculous.
Well, I think it's just good people. Like
Oh
I
yeah, they're
honestly
just
do.
yeah.
I really do. Like I've been very lucky to play some fantastic guys who are all great players, who all make me laugh, who all have to put up with looking at my ugly ass face across the
Hey
table.
man, as long as you don't put like the shoe polish on your head, I am good.
One day I'm gonna do that just so I can reflect and
I
just
yelled at
so
Ren for doing that one day, and he got flustered about it. It's like, dude, I'm just busting your balls.
the reflection will stop people from being able to
Yeah,
read the dice. It'll be great. I'll be Mirror Man, who was an
yeah.
actual villain out of Marvel. My God, God, no. Please, no. Never put him in a movie. God, no. Well, I was going to go on about Masters and some other things, and you've mentioned a whole bunch of stuff, but you know what, mate? I think we can end it there for now.
Okay.
It's been a fantastic chat. I
Oh, yeah, it's
love
been a great
catching up
chat.
with you. I can't wait to see you in a week's time.
Yeah.
And yeah, uh, so
Anytime you need the B team to step in and fill the void of, for an
oh,
hour or
trust
whatever,
me,
like let
mate.
me know.
We're gonna have you. I think we're gonna do a. I want to do a Brady Bunch at some point in time where we have enough people
9.
around the
Yeah.
screen that yeah, I think that would be hilarious. But for now, I think I will say thank you very much,
Oh yeah. Thank you very much for having me.
and we'll see you soon, mate. And bye for now.
Have fun.